is taken, but the Reds have travelled in great number. It's been a wonderful Liverpool campaign so far. The Reds have been relentless, but could today's showcase final play a part in what could be the most magical Liverpool season?
I lie a bed upon my chest. We are men of Shankly's best. That seen that plays the Liverpool way and wins the league and the cup in May. That's the original. My name's Phil Aspinall. I wrote the song The Live of Birds upon my chest. It was around 1984. It comes from a movie with John Wayne called The Green Berets. And I went, wow, that's going to be a great football song, it's got to be. We used to rate it on the albums. 5 or 6 of us to start singing it. After a couple of goals, the whole pub singing the song. People, since I've added extra verses on. Now it's come back to one verse. Things have been looking really positive for Liverpool. The song itself has made a comeback. And I'm really looking forward to we get the song at Wembley. Anfield South, it used to be called, didn't it? It's a wonderful day out, especially when you win. Not so good when you lose. I've shed a few tears.
He might finish it here.
I get the biggest buzz in life watching the Reds.
Liverpool, perfect from the spot.
And I will never ever get tired of watching Liverpool win trophies.
And it's Liverpool's League Cup once again.
Lives long and amended.
What a moment! Joy in front of the ball.
It makes me very proud to hear that song again. The song that will boost the fans, boost the players.
Liverpool, our team and our people will be loud and proud with that live bird upon their chests at their second home, Anfield South. And over the decades, it's a competition that really feels part of the club's DNA. Today, the Reds, the holders of this Carabao Cup, defend the trophy against the Newcastle side, desperate to end their own wait for silverware. And it's been a long wait as well, but it's League Cup final number 65. It's Liverpool against Newcastle United here at Wembley. It's pretty quiet for the moment, but come 4:30 this afternoon, almost 90,000 will be ready to raise the roof of the National Stadium here in London. And a very warm welcome to Matchday Live, presented by Standard Chartered. We have the biggest, the best build-up, we think, to the Carabao Cup final for you here on LFC TV and LFC TV Go. And to help me do just that, joined by a wonderful cast of Robbie Fowler, Neil Mellor and Jay Spearing as well. How are we all feeling? Start with you, Rob.
I'm confident, yeah.
Good.
I'm feeling good, I'm feling confident and good to be here. Jason McAtee said he couldn't make it, so I filled in for him.
A useful standard. What are the nerves like? I don't know. Do they differ between being a player? Do you feel more in control of the destiny of a cup final, perhaps, if you out there playing, or at least you're in the squad? When you're a fan, I don't know, sometimes you feel a bit helpless.
Yeah, but it's different. You know, it's different in terms of the players will be well aware how big this game is and how different it is. Everyone would have been pestering for tickets, the whole build-up. It's the first trophy to win this season. And ultimately in football, players want different things from the career. But majority want to win trophies. They want to win trophies. And being at Liverpool Football Club, that's one thing that you're expected to do. So it will have a completely different feel. But if the players can perform like we've seen consistently this season, then you think they'll have no problems today.
Is that what will be going through their heads right now? That they know if they perform as well as they can do, they will have too much for Newcastle?
Yeah, I generally think so. I think the players that we have are far superior, you know, in the nicest way and respectful way to Newcastle. I think that the squad that we have, the players that we have, the bench that we may have today as well, shows that this is Liverpool Football Club and we want to be winning silverware. And they've got to go out there today, and you know, it's the manager's first chance as well, so he'll want to come here and get silverware behind his name as quick as possible, and what a fantastic opportunity to do that. And we know it'll be a difficult game, but one that Liverpool should be full of confidence going into. Okay, we had a little bit of a disappointment with the Champions League in midweek, but what an opportunity to turn around and then go and make it right by winning a trophy and kicking on it for the rest of the season.
These are the scenes a little bit earlier on this morning when they go on that traditional walk. Does it do anything for you, this, as a group of players, Rob? The chance, I mean, they're perennial winners, I know, but just to get your feet on some grass, get inside the stadium and do a bit of that visualisation? Of
course, and it gives the players that little bit of a little bit of the atmosphere, a little bit of a soak of the atmosphere. I know the crowd's not there, but it gives them a little bit of a, the empty atmosphere, empty stadium, gives it this is what you're coming up against. It's always good to get a walk with the players, just get a little bit of that, that lactic acid, if you like, out of the legs. So, it's been going on for years and the players walk, but when you go in a major final, it probably stops them from being a little bit nervous. If you come to a ground straight away, a major final, and just walk into Wembley or a particular big stadium, on top of not seeing it could be nerve-wracking. So I think it's a good thing that you're actually walking around before the actual event happens.
By this point, they'll know the team. I suppose that's the preoccupation as a player sometimes. The only thing you're worried about is, am I going to play? Am I in the team?
Well, you only look for one name on the team sheet, and that is your own, absolutely. I mean, the players have done great this season, playing some big games, and this is the first cup final, so it's a case of who's going to get the nod. I don't think we'll see many changes. I think that's the thing with Arne Slot. I think he's been quite consistent with his team, and there hasn't been loads of changes. Big performance, big game against PSG. Didn't go our way, it was a cracking game, so I'm not expecting too many changes. The only one, which we all know will happen, will be Trent. Trent's missing because of his injury. But a few big decisions to make. Goalkeeper in the final third as well. So a few big decisions to make for the team there.
This is one of those places, isn't it? It's full of magic. It's full of magical memories, and everybody walking in will have those magical memories because we've been spoilt for Liverpool's success. But it's a horrible place if you don't win.
Yeah, it's never enjoyable coming to a cup final and leaving empty-handed. And both teams are coming here today full of confidence, and they'll rightly believe that they're the ones that should be taking the trophy home with them. But it comes down to a 90-minute or 120-minute game, maybe penalties. But I'm sure that Liverpool will want the game done in 90. Do we have the ability to do that? Rightly so, 100% we do. But we want to be leaving, going back down the motorway with the trophy on our bus.
And how good was last year, Rob?
It's Liverpool and finals. They're always brilliant, aren't they? I mean, the game probably wasn't unbelievable, was it? But no one really remembers the game, do they? Just remember, obviously, the goals, the last-minute goals, the bit of brilliance that maybe wins that cup. The fans are unbelievable. I mean, obviously, Mel's and Jay are talking about the atmosphere with the players. Liverpool are synonymous with finals, and you always get one player who was pivotal in winning that trophy. Last year we seen it, didn't we?
I think what was special about last year as well, the fans at 0-0 were singing and really getting behind the team, because if you remember the team, you can see the lads lifting the trophy there. A lot of players were missing in that game. A lot of key players, big players.
10 players.
10 players, big players, the likes of Salah, big player, match winner. And a lot of young players were on there against experienced opposition players with big price tags in Chelsea, expected to win. And those young academy lads did absolutely brilliant. But the fans made a difference. Extra time, 0-0, you're thinking, this lot got right behind them, and it must have given them a huge lift.
We're happy you can spend some time with us here. Get yourself something cold. Stay right where you are. We'll be with you live from Wembley for the next couple of hours as we build up to today's Carabao Cup final. And coming up, we'll be hearing from Arne Slot, of course. Opportunity knocks large for him already. Could there be a trophy at the first time of asking? Virgil's on the way, and the players on their feelings ahead of this big cup final. And come 3:30, team news time will bring you all the details of the starting lineups for both teams as well. And when we get into the action, LFC TV Go will have you covered as well for the big game. Steve Hunter and Neil Mellor will bring you the best live commentary from the Wembley gantry, and then post-match we'll be back here in our prime position with Robbie J and Neil, hopefully in front of a very jubilant set of Liverpool fans celebrating the 11th League Cup success, with reaction from Arne and his players as well. And don't forget, you can re-watch all of today's action in full from midnight on LFC TV and LFC TV Go as well. Like I said, we've got you covered for all of that a little bit later on. So today sees a first trip to Wembley for Arne Slot, but more importantly for the boss, a first opportunity to lead this team to glory in the silverware that awaits the victors.
It's your first final as Liverpool head coach. How much are you looking forward to it?
A lot. Not only because it's a final, not only because we played with Liverpool, also because it's at Wembley. It's an iconic stadium for English people, but also for Dutch people. I think my first memory I had of that stadium was when Ronald Koeman scored for Barcelona, their winner in the Champions League. And afterwards some Holland versus England games have been played over there. I think the Euros have been played there. Maybe even Holland against England with Paul Gascoigne being really good in that game was played over there. So I knew when I came to England it was special to go to Villa, to go to United, to go to Arsenal, go to all these clubs, Newcastle, all these clubs with great stadiums. I'm really happy that after Sunday, Wembley is also on my list of stadiums that I've managed.
Tsimikas delivers. Header! Yes! It's Virgil van Dijk who scores right at the end! Would you believe it?
I do remember texting Pepijn afterwards because I knew how much the academy meant and still means for him. And that for the whole club, but definitely also for him, it was a big moment that all these academy players were on the pitch winning a final. So I do remember texting him after that game. It was massive for Liverpool to win it with, in the end, so many youngsters on the pitch. But this final tells me also, again, the importance of set pieces, because it was a set piece where Liverpool scored from, and it was a special day for the club.
And the final comes at the end of what's been a relentless run of fixtures. Does it help the fact that this is at the end of that run, because there's no Premier League game in 3 days' time to think about, so the players can just pour everything they have into this final?
It's always nice to play for a trophy. It's always nice to win something. These players have given everything they've got in every single game they've played over an amount of 7 or 8 months. Sunday is definitely a game where we will go all in again, but it's also a quality of Newcastle. They are a team that can play on a high intensity like us. And that's why Newcastle reached the final, because that's more than football. You need intensity to win games.
You mentioned Newcastle there. You've already come up against them twice this season, including very recently at Anfield. Is that helpful for you, both the coaches and the players, that you have such recent experience of playing against them?
Yeah, it's always helpful, but it's helpful for both teams because players have felt the quality of the other team. Now looking at Newcastle, we played them twice. Last game Isak wasn't involved. The game before he was involved. He's such an important player for them. He's an unbelievable threat. I think Eddie would have loved to play Anthony Gordon. I think in this part of the season every team misses players, so we will miss a few as well.
And just finally, the atmosphere those Liverpool fans are going to be at Wembley will be incredible. Do you have a message for them and also the millions of Liverpool fans who will be watching this game around the world?
Yeah, it's going to be massive again. Both fan bases will be there for their teams to support. And the only thing I can ask for and we can ask for is give us the same support as they always do. And if they do this, hopefully bring the best out of our players. It's a great occasion to be in, and especially after losing against Paris Saint-Germain. We are really looking forward to playing this final now against, again, a very good and well-managed team by Eddie Howe with Newcastle.
Well, he's so cool, calm and collected. You spend lots of time with him at the moment, Jay, in your role as an under-21 coach. He will be under no illusions that this would be very special, wouldn't it? 9 months into the job, very close to becoming Anfield royalty, but to get a trophy in the cabinet at the first time of asking would be massive.
Yeah, listen, he's an incredible manager. Being very fortunate enough to be around him on a daily basis, you can see how much detail and how much work goes behind the scenes. You know, he watches games over and over and over with the opposition. He works on things on the training field a couple of days before. If he tries something and doesn't like it, it's gone. He changes it straight away. But he's just a genuinely nice guy, and I know that sounds a bit of a strange thing to say, but he's humble. He knows exactly what he wants from everything, and for him, it's a personal accolade. You know, he knew when he came to Liverpool comes with wanting to win trophies, and that's the pressure to put on the manager, but also put on the players. And yeah, of course, what a fantastic start it would be for him to come into his first final and take a silverware home. And you just hope that he's he's prepped enough to the weekend, enough towards the weekend now to get ready for this game.
It's funny you say there he's a nice guy, but there's clearly a ruthless streak in there. Every top manager needs it, but you know, if something they try doesn't work, it's in the bin and gone forever.
Yeah, it's completely gone, and you can see on the training field, you know, the detail. He's watching every single step, every single pattern. And like I say, if something he believes hasn't worked or isn't working, it's gone. And he doesn't believe it'll go. Now you have to give credit to, you know, the backroom staff as well. They are helping him with the ideas that they see. But he's the main man that's on the pitch, on the grass every single day, because I'm sure of these lads will be able to tell you that a lot of managers stand on the side and just watch and let their coaches take over and do the main things. But he's one that wants to be involved in taking things on a daily basis.
It felt like the impossible job. Realistically, what were your expectations about Arne Slot this season?
I think we all feared the worst when we heard the news, obviously this time last year, that Jurgen was going, and we were all thinking, well, what's going to happen here? The biggest compliment you can pay to obviously Arne Slot is we haven't missed Jurgen, and that is such a silly thing to say, because Jurgen's took us from here, back to the top level. So we are now a club who are rightly dining on the top table again. So this manager come in, he's playing a slightly different system, albeit with Jurgen's players. So imagine what he'd be like when he has his players in and the players he wants to. So he's got them players. Jurgen used that, doubters to believers, but he's trying to make them achievers. And it's obviously a big word, but last year I thought maybe we as a club overachieved in terms of not winning the cup, but obviously we done well in the FA Cup to a degree in terms of how far we went. Champions League was the same. Premier League we were maybe 5 games away, and I thought we overachieved. But I don't think we have this year, because obviously Arne's come in, he's played his style, he's bought into everything what the club is, and I think that's watch yourselves. I think that's massively important.
Sprinklers are on.
I think that's massively important from a manager who comes in. Look, he understands the culture, he understands what Liverpool are about, and he's probably done his own work absolutely about Liverpool. But again, just back to our start of this, we haven't missed Jurgen, and that's such a silly thing to say, because Jurgen was unbelievable.
But it was a big worry. It was certainly going to be a big worry. What's next? Are we going to be still competing for the title? And this year has proved that we can. I think the players deserve a lot of credit, because the manager's come in, and I know he's an outstanding coach. We didn't know a great deal about him before he arrived. He's proved himself, but the players have gone, let's give him a go. Because we've seen when there's been changes, some players have gone, not sure, I might move on. Now could be my time to move on. But the players have been fully committed and believe in this coach Arne Slot, and they've responded this year. It's been great. It's been a great combination.
Sammy Lee was saying recently that he thinks sometimes freshness in a club comes from a managerial change or coaching changes. We all sometimes assume as fans that the only way you get that freshness is by signing new players. Sometimes the most obvious answer is, a new voice, isn't it?
Yeah, it is, and he's come in, and we've spoke about him incredible a lot, and bringing in new ideas gives players a refreshing energy, because with the Jurgen, where we all knew it was heavy metal, it was fast forward, it was pressing, it was running hard. Sometimes the players like having different ideas and different plans, and to be able to play with this manager now, I believe he's got plan A, plan B, plan C and plan D, and I think exactly like Mel's has said, I think that every single player's bought into it. But for me, a big part of that was that when he first came in, the messages were from day one. On the training field in pre-season, what he said went. He came in and with straight ideas, had meetings on a daily basis with the lads to tell him exactly what he wanted. He wasn't afraid to pull out, big players. And I mean, in pre-season, like the Mo Salahs, the Virgils, or even the Curtis Jones who was around, if he never felt that they were running hard enough, he was quick enough to put it on them and say, listen, if you want to play for me, this is how I do it, and this is the way that we're going to go. And again, I believe, like Mel said, that the players are bought into it, and they deserve credit to obviously go out on the field and performing.
Well, Anfield South is the destination of thousands of Reds today. You will know so many of them and the journeys that they make, but some have made a weekend of it, some with a very early start. Let's go and meet some of them, shall we, and find out where Rob Jones is right now. Hopefully the atmosphere is good, Rob.
Pete, thank you very much indeed. It looks an absolute picture inside the National Stadium this afternoon, but outside the ground it really has been a hive of activity for a good few hours in the shadow of the great statue of Bobby Moore, England's World Cup winning captain of 1966. There have been fans here since very early in the morning, and for Liverpool this has become a very regular trip in recent seasons, looking to retain the League Cup for the first time since 1984 and win it for a record extending 11th time. Well, for Newcastle Newcastle, the success and the silverware has been a lot more sporadic, looking to win a domestic trophy for the first time since 1955 when they beat Manchester City in the FA Cup final. Joy for one set of supporters, agony for the others, who will be celebrating underneath the arch come about 6:30 this evening.
Well, thank you very much indeed, Rob. Yes, here we are, live on the gantry here at Wembley. Absolutely brilliant, isn't it, to be back at Anfield South once again. It's a magnificent occasion, it really is. Anfield, you know, that's why we call it Anfield South, don't we? Because we've won here so many times, and Wembley beginning to build up gradually. And of course, I think it's going to be a pretty amazing atmosphere here today. I really do, because the Newcastle fans, like the Liverpool fans, basically are so passionate, aren't they? I mean, you know, both working class cities, both are ports, and you know, this should be a magnificent occasion. Of course, we look back to one occasion in 1974. You may remember the classic David Coleman commentary, and it was unbelievable. Liverpool against Newcastle, the 74 FA Cup final. And it was unbelievable. You know, a young kid called Phil Thompson playing. Kevin Keegan, later to become a Newcastle United absolute legend up there at St James's Park, opened the scoring. Stevie Highway, great link with Keegan, making it 2. And then, anyone remember that classic Coleman commentary? Newcastle was simply undressed. Look at the touch there by Tommy Smith. Little Bamba there. Brian Hall linking with Tommy Smith again. 1-2 with Steve Highway. Tommy Smith, the Anfield Iron, into Keegan. Liverpool 3, Newcastle United 0. And it was brilliant. A story afterwards that Newcastle, in the build-up to this game, that Super Mac, Malcolm MacDonald, the self-proclaimed number 9, was saying what he was going to do to Phil Thompson and Emlyn Hughes before kick-off. And Phil Thompson tells me he's still in his top pocket, by the way. And Tomo very nearly didn't get up the Wembley steps. He swapped shirts with future Red Terry McDermott. The steward wouldn't let him up. Common sense prevailed. Pete, it's back to you.
On BT now.
Thank you, Steve. Steve, who's done every cup final, it feels, since the 1960s. He's no less excited for this one today, that much is certain. Liverpool against Newcastle, and it's a proper game, Rob. I think that's pretty safe to say. We saw 2 very different games against them in the season behind us. I'm just wondering how much we might be able to read into that, if anything, for a cup final.
Yeah, you know, I think we can read a lot, to be fair. We know when Newcastle turn up, they're a good side. You know, when their players are on top of their game, they will give anyone a game. I mean, from a Liverpool perspective, you hope you freeze when you come to this, because this is, you know, we know what's at stake. But certainly, I mean, Liverpool, you'd expect them to beat. You expect Liverpool to beat Newcastle at Anfield. I think that's a given. But when you go up there, it's always tough. It's always a tough place to go. And as much as, you know, it was a 3-3 game down at St James's Park, and Isak was brilliant for that, certainly for the goal he scored. But Liverpool should have won the game. It wasn't for maybe a mistake in the last couple of minutes, wasn't it? So we could be.
It's not often you see Robbie Fowler nervous, but the sprinklers come this way, and he is very nervous now.
Yeah, but I mean, the game was fantastic, and I mean, it could have went either way, because I think for 45-50 minutes Newcastle were brilliant, but Liverpool weathered the storm. You know, managed to control the game, and obviously managed to to put their onus on it and go 3-2 ahead, and they got back into it.
I think why this was a tougher game. And Robbie's spot on, it's a tough game at the best of times going to Newcastle. This was on the back of playing Man City and Real Madrid. So you're thinking about the timing of this game. When you're going up to Newcastle, you don't need to have played 2 massive games, which what it was before this one. We beat City, we beat Real Madrid, going into this game full of confidence. Newcastle were under a little bit of pressure that they had to respond, you know, themselves. And we had key players missing. Alisson didn't play, Canate didn't play, Szoboszlai off the bench, Diaz off the bench. So we weren't at full strength. And for Newcastle, that was they played well, but it felt like a bit of a defeat because we conceded so late in the game there.
Sorry, Pete, I know what you're thinking, but I mean, we talked about before the start of the game, so what keeper will play, so whether it's Alisson or whether it's obviously Kelleher. Kelleher will probably want a little bit of retribution for the mistake, because it was a mistake he made, one, and not cost Liverpool. We know he hasn't cost Liverpool, but he obviously should have done better with a goal. So if he does play, you know, that's a little bit of a bonus for him, isn't it, to try and get his own back.
It was a very different game, that 2-0 game, Jay, wasn't it? And almost felt a bit too easy for Liverpool, and that won't lure anybody into a false sense of security, will it? And of course it was without Isaac as
yeah,
well.
I'd say, like you say, Newcastle will probably be thinking, well, you know what, we've gone to Anfield without our main striker who's scoring all our goals for us. But for me, I totally agree. I think that Liverpool were dominant throughout the game. I felt we controlled the tempo. If we wanted to speed the game up, we did. If we wanted to slow it down and keep control of the ball, we were able to do so. Okay, Newcastle had maybe one or two half chances. You know, the Callum Wilson one when he's run through on goal is probably their most clear-cut chance of the game. But Liverpool just seemed to be able to go up a level, and I don't think that's what Newcastle will have about them. I think they'll come with one speed, and they'll try and dominate the game in their way by obviously getting tight.
What will that speed be? Is it like right out of the block straight away?
For me, I think so. I think if they look at Tuesday, you know, obviously a lot of our lads have played 120 minutes with the extra time with the PSG game. I've got a feeling, for me, and obviously just my opinion, that I believe Newcastle will come right out the blocks, and I think they'll just try and get in Liverpool's face. I've got a feeling they might go a little bit man-to-man, and it'll be 1v1 battles all over the pitch. Liverpool have just got to match it. And I think that if Liverpool match that speed and that tempo of the one-to-one battles, if we win them, I just think that we'll be far too superior for Newcastle.
Do you go along with that, lads? Do you think that will be Newcastle's plan?
I think so, yes. I think, I mentioned before about when obviously Liverpool went up to St James's Park. That's how they played the game. They took it to Liverpool. They knew their own record wasn't brilliant before they actually played Liverpool, so they know they needed to get on the front foot. And I think that's certainly what they've done. But to use that from a Liverpool perspective, Liverpool will play their game as well. So Liverpool will go at Newcastle. So the making of a tremendous game, we know that.
But they are missing a key player. Anthony Gordon is a massive player for Newcastle. So as much as we're missing Trent, and he's a big influence for us for creativity, he is their main man when it comes to creativity. Isaac will be thinking, if Gordon's on the team, I'm more likely maybe to get a chance. But yes, that is a massive, massive miss. Are we going to get hit? Yeah. Who's close? Here we go.
Desperate for us to be hit. Newcastle's players just coming out as we speak. We were told the sprinklers were going to come on an awful lot earlier than this, and we managed to dodge them, but Robbie was not quite quick enough. You can feel the atmosphere building.
That's not the first time I've heard that, Pete.
Around Wembley, we're just under half an hour until we get a first look at the starting lineups for today's showpiece final here, Liverpool against Newcastle United. And don't forget, we've got you all covered right throughout the day today. From kick-off, Steve Hunter and Neil Mellor will bring you the very best live commentary from the Wembley gantry, and post-match back here pitchside with Robbie, with Neil and with Jay, hopefully celebrating with reaction from Arne and his players as well. If that's not enough, you can watch the match in full from midnight on LFC TV and LFC TV Go tonight as well. So, of course, we're looking forward to it. We hope we've got a brilliant day in store for you as well. Wembley awaits the Reds once more. The fans gathering ready for the roar of their heroes. The players, we know they'll be ready come 4:30. So let's hear from Dominic Szoboszlai and the Carabao Cup leading scorer, Cody Gakpo. Well, Dom, Wembley and Liverpool, they seem to be linked over so many different generations, but the opportunity to play there this year, what does it bring to your mind?
Oh, it's unbelievable. I had the opportunity to play, but I couldn't because of my injury. So hopefully now I have a chance to play. That's the decision of the coach, but yeah, I'm ready to play.
Yes. Excited, I think. Could be our first trophy of the season, so I think we are very eager to win. Yeah, hopefully that would be the beginning of ending of a very beautiful season.
How close were you to playing in the final last year? Was it touch and go, or were you ruled out a couple of weeks before?
No, it was really. I waited until the end if I'm able to play or not. I wanted to, but then we were thinking long term, so it's better not risk it for one game and be out for even longer. But yeah, they did it very well, hopefully this year as well.
It was some celebration on the bench when Virgil scored.
Yeah, of course. Me and Darwin, we just said, okay, if he scores now, we run inside. So we totally forgot about our injuries. But yeah, we were really happy.
Last season we won it there, I think in a very beautiful way in the last minute. Virgil scored a great header and won us the game. It was a beautiful moment, and I think everybody wants to relive that again.
you still dream about scoring a winner in a final?
I did it once at PSV, so hopefully I can do it now again at Liverpool.
That's what I mean, that even though you've experienced that before, is it still something that keeps you going?
Yeah, of course. I think that's maybe the best feeling you can have as an attacking player, to score at that moment.
Out of the originals, the squad that have won so much already, and they will all say the same thing, that winning it is brilliant, but retaining the trophy and winning it again must be an even better feeling.
Yeah, of course. That's our goal. That's how we're gonna go there and try to take the trophy.
For the neutral, this will appear to be the perfect final, won't it? Two teams that will have a right go. They'll go toe to toe. They'll do whatever it takes to win the game.
Yeah, I think so too, and hopefully it's going to be a very nice game, and with us winning at the end.
Well, the players so hungry for this one and have been right throughout the week, and here they are arriving. These are the famous images that you see for every Wembley Cup final. A casual looking Arne Slot, but I'm sure there's all kinds of things racing through his mind right now. And the fans outside as well, beginning to make their way in, as well as the players. And Rob has been down Wembley way to gauge the feeling amongst the Reds who've made their way to Anfield South this afternoon. Rob.
Well, Wembley Way is absolutely alive with noise and with colour and with the fans of both Newcastle and Liverpool, including Redmen TV's Paul Machin, who is alongside me. This is what it's all about as a football fan, isn't it?
It's lovely, yeah. It's something I just adore about getting on Wembley Way and soaking up the atmosphere. And obviously this is predominantly the Newcastle end, but even the vibe coming off them, it's just so nice to kind of feed off the general air of positivity. It's lovely.
And that you just said about positivity, it seems something really nice about the interaction between the two sets of fans, that football fans can get a bad rap at times, but this seems very pleasant.
100%, yeah, I must admit, yeah, there's definitely certain fan bases where it might be a little bit more, someone said to me before, it could be a little hairy otherwise. Well, no, it's the Geordies. The Geordies are great, the Scousers are great, there's a great sense of unity between them. I'm not sure that will exist once the game kicks off, and maybe full-time, we'll see, but no, there's Reds walking alongside black and white, it's great.
Every successful cup final in particular has its own special memory that comes with it. Last year it was that the kids were okay, the youngsters got it done. This will always be remembered if it happens as Arne Slot's first one.
Yeah, 100%. I don't think anyone really expected Liverpool to be back here so soon. You know, there would have been a general sense of, pessimism after the end of the year and Klopp here of what we were going to face down this season. But yeah, to be back a year on and, okay, one or two injuries notwithstanding, a much stronger 11 available to us as well. Yeah, no reason not to be optimistic. And certainly, yeah, hopefully this is one where Arne can just tick this off early doors.
What's the mindset then coming into today after midweek? Is it that it's so great that we've got another massive game to try and get Paris out of the system as quickly as possible?
Yeah, I think there's definitely got to be a little bit of that because, you know, you don't want to fester in the misery of going out to the Champions League. And look, the Premier League is the one, and there is maybe a slight concern that this is a little bit of a, I don't know, like a stop along the way, whereas it feels very much like a destination for the Geordies today. But yeah, I think they've got to use it to pick themselves up, get the spirit of positivity back amongst the players, amongst the fans, and then use that to just drive them across the finishing line in the Premier League.
I touched on last year, but is there a particular cup final that you remember more fondly than others? I'm actually going to take Istanbul out of the equation because I think everyone will say that.
You know, there's a couple cup final trips. My first one was the old Wembley in 1992. Liverpool beat Sunderland, but I was a bit too young to fully appreciate the scope of what I was seeing. So I would have to say the FA Cup final 2001, the Michael Owen final, as it were. Yeah, what an occasion. Hopefully this one isn't quite as nail-biting as that one. But yeah.
Well, that's what I was going to say actually, just finally about Newcastle. That obviously some Premier League classics. Speaking to a Liverpool fan this morning in the hotel, said, "Don't want any of that today. Give me what we had at Anfield a month ago, which was a nice, gentle, easy 2-0 win."
Yeah, look, I would very much like this to be a game where Liverpool score first, then second, then third, and have it all sort of sewn up by half-time or whatever. But it just feels like there's so much of a sense of occasion around this because of how much it means to Newcastle that, listen, it can be another 4-3 classic, provided it's exactly the same outcome as the two previous 4-3 classics.
Great to speak today. Thank you very much indeed. Every single trip to Wembley is a memorable one, but much more memorable if it ends with a victory.
Yeah, it's one of those places, Rob, isn't it? Wonderful if you win. It's the place you want to get out of as quick as you can if it doesn't go your way. Liverpool players have just come out for their initial walk behind us as well, looking very relaxed. And this is a team that reached a major domestic final by facing a top-flight team in every round. So here's a reminder of the Reds' road to Wembley.
chance of the Carabao Cup as they host West Ham United. Comes in, Devo knocks it down, big chance in the 6-yard box, and it's an own goal off Jarrell Porter. Gakpo's onside, he's in the penalty area, not got many players in support. He tries to find Chiesa, half volley, Jota, Liverpool equalise! Good play by Jones, great ball, Jota's in! Yes, Jota again! Yes! 2-1 Liverpool! Bradley's in now, can he pull it back? He can! Great save, Salah! Bogey! He'll shoot McAllister! Oh, great save! Is the scoring over? Nunes, brilliant flick. Gakpo turns, shoots right footed. Oh! Beauty! He's turned two of them. He's turned. He shoots again. Oh!
It's another week. It's another competition for Liverpool. Gakpo. He's going to drive for goal and he scores incredibly. Cross towards Adingra. Oh, what a save! They're in again here, Liverpool, if they play this right. Gakpo! Bang! Ferguson saved again by the goalkeeper. Adingra scores. This is Luis Diaz. He might want to go all the way on his own, and he does. Oh, the deflection's taken it in. Liverpool just keep on winning.
Carabao Cup quarter-final time tonight as Liverpool take on Southampton. Lovely turn by Alexander-Arnold, hold off two Southampton players, and a through ball, and Darwin Núñez is one-on-one here, the keeper slips, and it's a goal! Endo, clever, Gakpo, into Elliott, who's free in the box, shoots, scores! Harvey Elliott buries it! Fernandes with a deflected pass, Archer. Now he's in the penalty area, running at Kwanzaa. Archer shot, goal! Brilliant goal by Cameron Archer. Ball into the box. What a save by Kelleher and off the line by Tyler Morton.
Tottenham and Liverpool, all action, no holds barred, real edge of your seat stuff, and it's rare it doesn't get a 5-star rating. Bergvall almost robbed Alisson Becker, and then the second time he did, and it was an awful error, and Tottenham are in here with Porro, who just thought about it a bit too much. Cross in, and nobody there, might fight Trent Alexander-Arnold off the line by Dragusin. Arte, it's Solanke, Bergvall. Last 5 minutes of the game, and it's Tottenham with the lead. Well, it's time for another of those famous Anfield nights. It's time for another of those famous Anfield comebacks. And here's Salah for Liverpool. Gakpo goal! Salah's touch, immaculate. Early ball, looking for Núñez, caught by the goalkeeper. Liverpool penalty. Salah against Kinski. And scores brilliantly. Bradley, what a run, onto Szoboszlai, brilliant from Liverpool, absolutely brilliant from Liverpool. One more seals it for Liverpool. Oh, there it is! Liverpool's long-standing love affair with the League Cup will mean another visit to Wembley Stadium and Anfield South.
Yeah, it's a wonderful competition, isn't it, those midweek games, and here we are in March at a major cup final as well. It was a real signal of intent, wasn't it? A real common theme that we've seen right throughout the season, that, you know, he didn't rotate much in this competition either, Arne Slot.
No, he hasn't. You know, he's gone. You looked at the teams that we played, and I felt that, you know, he showed the competition a huge amount of respect, which I think he should. You know, over the years, many years ago, I felt that this competition was looked at in a different way, where it didn't seem too important. But I felt like now over the last 10 to 15 years, I feel as if teams are taking this tournament a hell of a lot more serious, and you can see that with the teams that people are playing. You know, there's not as much rotation. But like you say, I think throughout the season, for me, I don't think he's rotated a lot. And I think that as a player, you know, you must find that, knowing that you're going into a game and you can start to find your rhythm, find your patterns, you build relationships with the players that you're playing with. But then also the lads off the bench, they know he's going to make changes around maybe the 60-65 mark, so you know, you're always ready just in case. But yeah, he's shown a huge amount of respect, and there's no surprise that we're here today.
I think it helps the younger, the squad players, when you know you're playing with a lot of the senior players. You know, for me, when I experienced it, I wanted to be playing with the majority of the first team. Rather than seeing 10, 11 changes, it becomes a lot harder, it becomes a lot more disjointed performance. So some of the young lads have still done well and appeared in this competition. Yaros at Brighton away, that's a tough game. Yaros involved there. Quanta's played, we've seen Conor Bradley, I know we've seen him in the Premier League, Endo, but these are getting game time in the competition. Trey Naoni, Tyler Morton, you know, they've all got game time. So whilst a lot of the majority won't play today, they've still played their part in some of those results to get us in this position today.
Really hurts me to say this, Rob, but you do wonder whether the Carabao Cup at times has overtaken the FA Cup in the sense that it's kind of done on the night. You can get to a cup final in March. You know, it's a real, I don't know, I think in the last 10 years, City, United or Liverpool have won it, so there's a real signal there that the top teams are taking it really seriously now.
Yeah, James mentioned then, so a lot of the Premier League teams probably, I mean, it's not on their radar, is it? Until probably later on in the comp, they'll probably get the feel of it, try and find it out, and you get into the later ends of the competition. But it is a competition that it can make a season. I mean, I go back to 2001 when we won it. I mean, that was probably the catalyst for why we won all the games, and obviously we ended up winning the FA Cup. We won the European one, the UEFA Cup. Couldn't think of the name. That was a good night, by the way. That was a good night. I'm still getting over it. Yeah, so it's that catalyst. So a lot of the teams obviously do want to do well in this. Okay, they'll play a little bit of a weakened team until they get to the final stages, and then they play the big boys because they know what it makes, and it makes for obviously the fans. The fans want to see you win something, and the teams, the confidence that builds towards the end of the season is crucial for obviously doing well in this.
We've seen pictures here of Cody Gakpo. Look how relaxed the players look as well, just taking in the scenes, trying to spot their families across the way. And Cody Gakpo is one of those players, Mel's. It's felt like his competition. 16 goals this season. He's the top scorer in the competition. Probably a bit of an ill-timed injury, and he'd be wondering whether, I mean, he will know by now whether he's in the team or not, but you know, it feels like an occasion where we might see Cody Gakpo at his best today.
Yeah, I mean, I think Cody Gakpo has an outstanding season. I just wondered 3 or 4 weeks ago, Cody Gakpo, he's at it. He's had that little bit of an injury. He's coming back. He's had a little bit of game time. He's not quite at the same level that he was a little bit 3, 4, 5 weeks ago. But great season. And I think he's one of the players who's performed better, got better as a player, because he's had a settled role in the team. Arne Slot's come in, and we've seen Cody Gakpo play as an 8, a 10, a 9, and out wide. Now he's a left winger, and he knows exactly what he needs to do in the team. And Arne Slot has given him that confidence to influence the games. He's top scorer in this competition, but he's scored in some big games this season. Scored against City, Real Madrid, Leverkusen. They're some of the big results we've had this season. So if he doesn't start the game, he could be one of the players to come on and make a difference.
I think that you also got to remember that at the start of the season, the left-hand side was Luis Diaz's. You know, Cody couldn't really get in the team. He wasn't. Diaz started the season well, scored a couple of goals, and then it took for Diaz to maybe get a knock for then Cody to come in. And you have to give Cody credit where, like, since he's been in, he's made that position his. And like Neil's touched on, he's made it his, but he's played at a high level, and he's given the manager absolutely no choice to get him out of the team. If anything, he's made him, cemented him where he's gone, you know what, I can't leave Cody out. And that shows the squad depth that we have. Them, you know, the share, once you go in, you don't want to lose it.
Jay was speaking and Neil before about these kind of one-to-one battles that will be all over the pitch. Diaz is in that momentum now. He's kind of made that position his own over the last couple of weeks, hasn't he? Him versus Trippier, who's maybe best days are behind him. That could be an intriguing battle today.
Yeah, and he hasn't played as many games as he would have liked, would he, as well? So, I mean, there's battles all over the pitch. You know, for me, I think the game's won and lost in midfield. And Jay will tell you, so, you know, as much as we're going about the brilliance of Gakpo's, the Salahs, the Jotas, if he plays, even the brilliance of Anthony Gordon, I know he's not playing, but these are players who can win you, obviously, games individual because of individual brilliance. But games are won and lost in midfield. If you get control of the middle of that pitch, you can control everything else. And I mean, for me, that's probably where Liverpool lost the game against PSG. PSG seems to have more control. If they're controlled in the middle of the pitch, you'll get a few more bodies there helping. Obviously with McAllister, who else? We've got obviously Ryan Gravenberch, and obviously Szoboszlai, who's been tremendous the last month. We know if these play on top of their game, Liverpool win the game.
Striker wanting to talk about midfielders, we'll do that.
I love that.
In a midfield in a minute. Let's just try and round up the strikers one then, Mels, and obviously we have the extra time and penalties behind us in the week. I'm not sure whether that plays any part in Arne Slot's thinking for this one, but what is that front three for you? What do you think will start the game today?
I think if Cody Gakpo is fit and firing, he starts Diaz down the middle and Salah down the right-hand side. Because maybe we haven't seen the Gakpo that we have a few weeks back, that makes me think we might see Diaz, who's been flying down the left-hand side in recent games, Jota down the middle, who's doing a job. He started 3 of the last 4, needs a goal, but the team is still functioning really well with him in that position, and Salah out on that right-hand side, with Szoboszlai being a really important player to get forward into the penalty area and get into positions. The good thing at the moment, last year we were thinking a lot of players missing, so whoever starts, when you look at the bench for Liverpool, you're thinking there's players there that can make a difference, and I think that is a real positive that we have.
That's something that probably your generation can't get your head round, is it? In that that's as important now. We're hearing about starters and finishers in games, aren't we? Someone off that bench will have an impact, a big impact in this game today. You just feel it.
Yeah, I mean that's the modern football, and we talk about minutes, and Jay mentioned about Arne Slot plays a strong 11, and he'll want to play them because you get that continuity, don't you? And the players come to each other, but I'm not big on the let's look after the minutes. If you've got a strong team and you're winning games, then that team's got to play. And I know someone will come on and be a difference, and that's what subs should be doing. But you want a sub if he's coming on, he's got to do it. And we've seen not enough of it in the last game when you make subs. It didn't really make a difference. But you're thinking today, it's a big game, so you come on, you've got to make a difference.
Just the final one for now on the modern game, and we're hearing an awful lot about this, aren't we? Is it important Liverpool start with that traditional number 9 today against a Newcastle team? So many teams, and we've done it ourselves, we've kind of functioned without that traditional centre forward. Is it a Jota or a Nunez, either or for this game, do you think, today?
For me, definitely, yeah. I think Liverpool have to start with a number 9, out-and-out number 9. I think that the changes and the back 4 in Newcastle, I think if we didn't play a 9, I think we'd be letting them off. And I mean that if we played a Curtis Jones, say for instance, and obviously no disrespect to Curtis Jones, but he's not going to be that one that's going to break in the back line or causing Dan Burn problems or causing Livramento problems. I feel that they have to play with a 9 because I think that's probably for me Newcastle probably weakest part of their team.
Agree, Rob?
Absolutely. I think Liverpool, we should always have that number 9, that striker who plays on the defender's shoulders, because you need to stretch your game. If you've got a false 9 who keeps dropping deep, that's great for defender. Defenders want to do that, and as much as you might get in it every now and again, a defender wants to see you play in front. And if you're doing that's so much easier for that. So you get the striker, get them playing on the defender's shoulder, get the defenders thinking they've got to start defending instead of worrying about what's in front of them.
Briefly, Neil?
I think it'll free up space for Diaz and Salah if you play with a 9 as well. Because Newcastle, if they're thinking everything's in front, okay, we can deal with that and we can maybe mark Salah or Diaz. Someone running behind, like Robbie's mentioned, it becomes then more space for somebody like Salah or Diaz to get more time and space to hurt them.
So after coming so close for a few years ago, the hunger for silverware greater than ever amongst the Geordie support. I'm sure you've been reading all about it over the last couple of days, and Eddie Howe feels he and his side have learned big time from that 2023 final and have prepared a little bit differently this time around.
It does feel different. I think the whole thing this season's felt different in the sense that I think we've just gone about our business in a really calm, controlled way, professional way. We've had a really tough run of fixtures in the Carabao Cup, and I think to attack those games in the way that we did, and of course you're in the midst of a busy campaign, Premier League, FA Cup, we've sort of just gone from round to round, and now we've ended up in the final, but there's been a lot less emotion. You need to feel all the excitement, the potential what-ifs from the positive side, but you just need to control it. If you're too emotional, you won't perform at your best. If you're understimulated, which I'd be very surprised if anyone was, of course you won't perform at your best. So it's getting that sweet spot, it's getting that balance absolutely right, and that's what we'll try to do in our preparation. I think we've got a lot of experienced players. I think that has to be mentioned. Players that have played for their countries, Champions League games, won big competitions. I'm not worried about us on that side. So I think that's the key things.
Bruno, what's it like to play against Liverpool? Good game, top teams. I think, in my opinion, nowadays is the best team in the world. They are proving this in the Premier League, winning by 15 points. But be honest, I would always prefer to play with good teams because they play and we have pass to play as well. So we have to be focused. Sometimes you don't have too much about them and think about us, what we can do as a team to surprise them and play our best football.
I really enjoy the games against Liverpool because I think they're not too different to ourselves. It's like a high-pressing team and direct team, which can lead to many counter opportunities, and that's the game I like. So yeah, I think I've had pretty good success before, and yeah, I feel good and enjoy playing against them.
We know from the last time we got to the final that the scenes driving up to Wembley, the feeling of support and unity that we had, the expression the fans give in every game is huge for us. And yeah, we're going to need them. It means everything. I said when I came to the club, so proud to be here, so proud to represent the city, and I want to do it in the right way and try and make everybody proud and happy, and that's obviously the challenge that we have this weekend.
Yeah, Eddie Howe, and it's been quite an interesting lead up to this game as well. It's usually an open day for Newcastle's media, but this one has been one where they've really scaled it back. Eddie Howe was saying that he felt it drained his players, the media commitments they had in the lead up to the final, and it kind of leads you into the fact that it's been a generational wait, 70 years for them to win a trophy.
And everybody keeps saying it. And the players are going to be hearing that. And as much as it's a chance for them to be heroes and to make history, they're still being told that Newcastle never win things. So I wonder how mentally that they've coped with that. Now, when they played the cup final 2 years ago against Manchester United, Newcastle were going for a top 4 place. So were Man United. We were that season. They're playing against the best team in England at the today. And psychologically, I think that's different as well. So the massive underdogs, when they played United, it could have gone either way that game. And they didn't perform on the day, and they'll have experience from that, but they're playing the best team. So psychologically, that's a lot for them to deal with.
But you know what, though? I think you can use that as an advantage because, I mean, it's like a top team has to play a lot of games. And like we all moan so hard there's too many games, but that means you're successful. And it's like Eddie Howe saying, this media commitments could drain the team. Listen, if you want to be a top team, I'd say to the players, get used to that because we want to be doing this all the time. So use it as a positive and spin it round as opposed to saying, it's draining the players. The players should thrive on that.
There was also a story in one of the papers, one of the newspapers had actually written love letters to the players. So they'd gone to the family members and say, write a story about Neil Mellor or Robbie Fowler, what he means to you as a family member. They were asked apparently not to do that this year, again because it added a bit more pressure onto the players. What do you make of that? Is that something that you'd have been 6 hours before kick-off, been crying at the table, kind of hearing from loved ones? Does it work or not?
I love it. I'm all about inspiring. And for me, if you get something, from someone you love, someone who means a lot to you, and they write something really meaningful in a letter, that means I want to go out there and show them and show everyone else that, I'm here to sort of compete for you. I love it. I think it should inspire them to do better. I'm not involved, don't do that.
I totally agree, Robbie. I think, for me, it'd be a case of, if anything, it'd spur me on more. Obviously, you want to do it for yourself, you want to do it for your team, but at the end of the day, like you said, you'd want to go out and do it for your family as well. Your partner, your kids, whoever it may be who's wrote the letter. For me, I think it'd inspire. And I think you want to prove to everybody that you can go on and be at the biggest stage.
We talked a little bit about Newcastle's plan and that they might want to come at Liverpool quickly here. Might there be a psychological angle also in if Liverpool do take the lead, and we know how good they are at seeing out leads, and Newcastle thinking Liverpool have been here before, they've been in these big finals before, they know how to see these games through?
I think a big factor is Liverpool have been to Wembley and won. Newcastle have been to Wembley and never won. Certainly for a long, long time, 70 years. So psychologically, it has to be a factor, without a doubt. And that will give the Liverpool players and the fans the confidence as well. And Newcastle have some great fans, and they've been starved of success for a long time. They'll be here in the big numbers to get behind them. But they know that how good this Liverpool team is. But we know as well, stood here, they have a player who can win games of football in Isak. I think they have one of the best centre-forwards in world football, number 9. And give him a chance like Newcastle had at Anfield. Callum Wilson missed it. You fancy him to score that. And he's a big game player, so we'll see how he does it. I think Van Dijk will be at it today. I don't know what you lads think, but Van Dijk, for the last sort of couple of years, Haaland's the best striker around. Van Dijk's been at it against him. And I think there's been a lot of noise about Isak's the best around, and I think Van Dijk will just say, listen, I'm the best around. So that'll be a great battle today.
Yeah. I mean, as long as that wait goes on, and Jurgen Klopp used to often say it, didn't he? The longer you leave a door open, someone's going to kick through it eventually. We have to be certain we don't leave Newcastle any chances today to end that long wait.
No, I totally agree, but also I think if you listen to the Isak interview, he talks about wanting to play on a counter-attack, so he's kind of given what he likes to do, and Liverpool just can't allow him to do things that he wants to do. They have to be aware that, we've seen the goals throughout the season. He can finish from outside the box with a strike, he can bend it, he can head it. Like Mel said, he's probably an all-round number 9. These guys will know a hell of a lot more than they're made about being like that natural number 9 who can finish off both feet, header. What's the best bit to feed off? Liverpool have to nullify him, and with Konate and Virgil van Dijk, I'm sure that that'll be their big thing today.
Well, to see a black and white behind us, we're seeing the Liverpool fans come in as well, and what's brilliant about these occasions are the flags that we're seeing just unveil. We'll read through them as we go throughout the afternoon today, but we've got you covered right up from kick-off and leading up to it as well. Neil Mellor's going to be with Steve Hunter a bit later on. The best live commentary from the Wembley gantry. If maybe your nerves don't stand up to watching the game, you can listen to the lads instead. Post-match, I'll be back here pitside. Robbie, Neil and Jay, hopefully with smiles, reacting also from Arne and his players if the result is a good one. And if that's not enough, you can watch the match in full from midnight on LFC TV and LFC TV Go as well. So time to get a bit more from the players, their thoughts on taking on Newcastle in the 2025 Carabao Cup final. Team news is on the way after we hear from Ryan Gravenberch and Ibu Konate, who's won his fitness battle. Will he play in this game today? You'll find out in just a few minutes' time.
Ryan, another Wembley appearance as a Liverpool player. How does it feel?
Yeah, really good. How they call it? Anfield South?
Yeah.
So it's really nice to go there again.
Ibu, Liverpool at Wembley again.
Yeah, again.
How does it feel?
Very good. I'm very happy to go there again. What a stadium, and everyone have been there the last final there. Can realize how the fans, how the atmosphere will be then. I'm very happy to go again.
How do you look back on last time? Everybody was so excited. There was obvious injury problems in the lead up to it, and you, after 28 minutes, have to limp out.
Yeah, I put a tackle on my ankle, and my ankle, I go through my ankle, and I was so much pain.
How quickly can you turn from that personal disappointment to enjoy what happened in the end?
To be honest, it went like this. I went in, and then after I put some ice on my ankle, went out to support the boys, and was really happy, and I enjoyed the moment a lot.
I watched this moment again and again, but I think the most important for me was the end when we won. How the fans react, the stand was unbelievable. Then, yeah, it's just very nice.
And how do you assess the threat of Newcastle? They've got a little bit of everything, a bit like Liverpool, and they're always dramatic games against Newcastle.
Yeah, for sure. We know Newcastle, they have a very, very good team, and I think it will be a very good channel, but if you want to win something, you have to play against the best players and the best team.
We know they have a really good team, and it will be a really tough game. We saw it also in the away game against them, but we have to prepare well, and I think we have also a really good and strong team, so we will see.
And Wembley, the Liverpool fans, like you said at the very start, it's Anfield South. They turn it almost into a game at Anfield.
Yeah, I know. We hit them last time, so yeah, I wanted to see them this game as well. But I know they will be there for sure. It will be a nice feeling, a really nice feeling. Yeah.
Oh la. Yeah, when you win one trophy with Liverpool, it's just unbelievable. When you see the stand at the end of the game, it's just you have no word to describe what you can see, and yes, it's good to have this again. Yeah.
Of the National Stadium into Anfield South is well underway. In all the regalia, 31,000 plus Liverpool fans expected here, ready to give their all to a Liverpool side that are looking to make it back-to-back Carabao Cup final victories. It's just gone 3:30. 1 hour to go till Wembley is a sea of colour and noise. The team news is just in, so let's go live to Rob Jones for that Liverpool team news confirmed now. Rob.
Pete, thank you very much indeed. It is an experience that many of the Liverpool players have enjoyed before, but still everyone wants to get picked for a cup final. We knew that one change had to happen today from the midweek defeat to Paris Saint-Germain in the absence of Trent Alexander-Arnold. The other big question was who would start in goal. Well, it is Kevin Kelleher. So 2 changes from midweek. Kevin Kelleher and Jarell Quansah into the Liverpool side in place of Alisson and Trent Alexander-Arnold. So the team in full. Kelleher in goal for his 3rd League Cup final in 4 years. It is a back 4 of Quansah, named in the England squad on Friday, and now in the back 4 in a cup final 2 days later, alongside Ibrahima Konate, Virgil van Dijk, the match winner here last season, and Andy Robertson. It'll be a midfield 3 of Ryan Gravenberch, Alexis McAllister and Dominic Szoboszlai, who both scored in the league game between the two sides last month, and then a front 3, Mohamed Salah with 18 goal involvements in his career against Newcastle. He's only bettered that number against Manchester City and Manchester United. And then Luis Diaz and Diogo Jota, who's never lost against Newcastle, but is without a goal in his last 9 games. The substitutes for Liverpool this afternoon will be Alisson, Endo, Nunez, Chiesa, Curtis Jones, Harvey Elliott, Cody Gakpo, Costas Tsimikas and James McConnell. So plenty in reserve for Liverpool this afternoon. Cody Gakpo on 5 League Cup goals for the season, the top scorer in the competition. The last player to score 6 in the League Cup in a single season for Liverpool, Pete, is the man alongside you, Mr. Robbie Fowler.
I think he's desperate to get a game, and he looks like he could play again now as well. Robbie Fowler in great condition here pitchside. Let's go to him now in terms of any surprises for you. Was that the team that you picked when you were writing it out this morning?
I think so. Yeah, I mean, I don't think we get any better now. Obviously, Trent comes in if he's playing, doesn't he? I mean, the argument there was, I mean, Mels was saying before about Diaz and Gakpo, but obviously Gakpo's probably not as fit as what Diaz is. Diaz is playing on top of his game. Mo playing on the right is, I mean, he's the player who can win games, can't he? He's like one of these players who he might do nothing for 85, 86 minutes and then pop over to, a winning goal. So he is that good of a player. So it's as strong as what we think, isn't it?
The big decision perhaps was at right back, and he said that he could play Wataru Endo there, he could play Curtis Jones there, but Quansah he thinks has got the physical capabilities to be a good right back and a really important one for Liverpool today.
Yeah, listen, Jarell's an outstanding defender first and foremost, and he's going to be at the top of his game. What an opportunity for him. A couple of days ago you probably didn't think he was going to be sat on the bench. He might not even get a minute or two come this weekend, but now he's going to go and play in a Carabao Cup final for his boyhood club, and he's got to step up and be counted. And like you say, the manager trusts him. Okay, he had a little bit of a tough patch at the start of the season when, with the substitution after 45, but his maturity, his mentality, he's dug in, he's worked hard. They really like him. He's a fantastic young defender. Alone, going to Bristol Rovers was probably one of the best experiences that he also says helped him massively. But looking at the game now, the PSG game, I felt when he came on, it was a fantastic cameo. The interceptions that he did, the tackles he made, the running forward. I was speaking to Robbie before about it, saying that, first and foremost today, he's just got to concentrate on being a defender. If there's moments, where he can go forward, by all means, go and open your legs because he can move. Today it's all about being a defender, being solid, winning your 1v1 battle with whoever it may be, Barnes or Willock. But yeah, no, what an opportunity for him.
I think with him, I think you're spot on, Jay, as well. But I think with Jarell as well, it's maybe his concentration levels, and I think that's probably what sort of hindered him in the past, where he's a relaxed lad, isn't he? And maybe at times he's a little bit too relaxed. If you come into a game, and this is probably why you're saying his cameo at PSG, because he knew he had to be on top of his game. He's playing against PSG, so he knew that, I've got to be on top of mine. So, I know what's at stake. And today is exactly the same. And his concentration levels, as much as he's a good player, the importance of the concentration levels as a defender is sort of up there. And he needs to get them right today.
It just shows the sliding doors moments as well, doesn't it, being a footballer? He could have put Liverpool through with that wonderful header, couldn't he? But for a coat of paint off the inside of the post. The big decision as well, Robbie in goal. Was it a big decision, or is this the right decision for Liverpool to make and for Queeve to play?
Yeah, I think time will tell if it's the right decision. I mean, I think we're quite blessed this football club. I mean, not only the outfield players that we've got, but we've got two incredible, in fact, 3 or 4 incredible goalkeepers. Obviously, Keller is one of them keepers who would look out of place in no team. He is an exceptionally good goalkeeper. So that's the beauty of obviously Arne Slot picking him. We know that he's comfortable. We know that you can guarantee him. You know, we look at his performances in obviously League Cups over the years.
And he's brilliant in the final last year, wasn't he?
Of course.
Scores a decent pen too.
Yeah. and look, that might have played a part in it as well. You know, obviously the fact that he knows what's at stake. I mean, Alisson is obviously number one. But that's why you probably feel for Keller, don't you? He's come into this team, and I know he played when obviously Alisson was injured, but I don't think he's ever let anyone down, has he?
Nothing phases him though, does it, Queeve? And people might assume that, you know, he's a really shy lad. He was first up on the karaoke in the summer initiations all those years ago.
Yeah.
He's talented as well, by the way.
Yeah.
Talented musician.
Better than me. Can't be better than me. I bet he doesn't give
on
a
the voice
yeah.
today.
He's been doing Chris de Burgh just for Wembley. Maybe try and get that out a little bit.
Oh
later
yeah, I'll
on.
be giving it later.
But you know, his third League Cup final, like you say, you know, taking penalties, got this wonderful record of saving them as well. This will not faze him today one bit.
No, it's nothing that he hasn't done before. Like you say, it's his third cup final. He stepped in a huge time to the club. He's made some huge saves. Like Robbie touched on there, you know, when Alisson was injured for quite a long time in the season, he stepped up and was counted. And he's always done that, you know, over the time he's been here. He's had to bide his time because, you know, Ali, he is the best for me in the world. And he's had to bide his time, be patient, wait for the right moment. If he was available, you know, he would step in and he'd be counted. But it's a huge one, and, you know, he loves being here. He's been a fantastic goalkeeper in the 2 cup finals previous, and, you know, he can take a pen, and hopefully we don't get that far. But yeah, listen, he's like a duck to water. He knows what he's doing.
The 9 position, you got what you wanted. Diogo Jota, put yourself in his shoes now, Robbie, for this one today.
Yeah, I'm lucky. You want to come in, you want to do well, you want to score goals, you want to be an handful, but you want, first and foremost, you need to get your first few touches and sort of let Newcastle know that they're in the game. I think it was massively important Liverpool play with that number 9. And if we're trying to pick our best 11 for Liverpool, Jota comes in at that number 9. Obviously, he hasn't scored as many as we would have liked this year. I know he's had his fair share of injuries, so this is why the argument of Núñez and maybe someone else coming in the summer, that will always be an argument because obviously Jota's injuries. But today he's got a real chance of not only making a name for himself, but getting Liverpool, a trophy that the club wants. But he's got to be up there, and he's got to sort of stay as high as he possibly can and try and create a little bit of space for, I know, Diaz on the one side or Mo coming in on one side, and even the runs from Szoboszlai.
He obviously needs a goal, Diogo Jota, at the moment in his position. Would you be speaking to the wingers before in his position? Do this, or would that kind of communication go on in the changing room?
Absolutely, and I think it's on the plane down, the coach, whatever they've got down, I don't know. It's conversations all week, and the players have probably had an idea who's going to start, and these are the conversations that you've got to have. The players know each other's games. They'll know where obviously Diogo Jota's going to run to. So it's important that he does play his normal game, and then you're open that the players are in and around him, sort of capitalise on that as well.
Yeah, and the wingers that we expect him to play as well.
Yeah, listen, quickly on Jota, I think he's one of Liverpool's best finishers. If a chance falls to someone in the box, obviously apart from Mo, you want it to fall to him. He's clinical in front of goal off both feet. But yeah, the rest of them speak for themselves. Mo, you don't have to explain too much about Mo. His numbers are incredible. The vein of form that he's in is incredible. What he's done for this club is incredible. The records he's breaking. I know he's obviously chasing Robbie as well for a few of them. But he's just an incredible player, and he keeps going and going and going. And then Diaz, he's in a good frame of form. He's now obviously. He probably needs a goal as well. I'd say I think he probably needs a goal to give him a big boost as well. So the front three are going to be important, and I think that they can cause Newcastle problems.
Okay, well it's a Wembley final, and you might assume that they're warm ones, but we are battling the conditions a little bit here. It's starting to get a little bit cold under the cloud, but we can see the sea of black and white behind us. They do wear the traditional shirts. Newcastle, Liverpool are in an array of all kinds of different colours, but it's a great scene just in front of us at the moment. What about Newcastle's team then? They have a few injury problems of their own. Let's find out what 11 that Eddie Howe has selected now with Rob Jones.
Pete, thank you very much indeed. Newcastle United's second time here for a Carabao Cup final in 3 years. They arrive at Wembley without three significant figures that they would have surely called upon today. Both Sven Botman and Lewis Hall in their defence are injured, and Anthony Gordon suspended for this game after a red card in the FA Cup against Brighton. So Eddie Howe names the same side that started Newcastle's dress rehearsal for this match, a 1-0 win at West Ham just across the capital on Monday night. So it means that Nick Pope will start in goal. He missed the final 2 years ago after being sent off in a Premier League game against Liverpool. It'll be a back four of Kieran Trippier, Fabian Schär, Dan Burn, who celebrated his first England call-up at the age of 32 on Friday, and Tino Livramento, who's faced Liverpool 5 times before and conceded 17 goals across those matches. It's a midfield three of Sandro Tonali, Joe Linton and Bruno Guimaraes, who got the winning goal against West Ham on Monday. And then a front three, it'll be Harvey Barnes tasked with filling Anthony Gordon's shoes this afternoon. Him on the left-hand side, Jacob Murphy on the right, and down the middle, the dangerous Alexander Isak. 22 goals in all competitions this season. He missed the last meeting between these two clubs in the Premier League last month. The Newcastle substitutes this afternoon: Martin Dubravka, Callum Wilson, Matt Targett, Emil Kraft, Willa Sula, Joe Willock, Sean Longstaff, Lewis Miley and Sean Neve. That is the squad that Eddie Howe has selected today as he looks to end the long wait for Newcastle, and also the long wait for an English manager to triumph in this competition. Steve McLaren was the last in 2004. 6 have tried and failed since then. Can Eddie Howe lift the cup this afternoon?
We hope not. We hope it's a Dutchman that's lifting the cup in the Royal Box a little bit later on. Robbie Fowler and Jay Spearing are with us in our presentation position here. Really interesting actually to look at it from their perspective as players. The instant thing that the two lads did was look towards the bench and say Newcastle don't have an awful lot to change it if it doesn't go according to plan, Rob.
Well, we spoke before about teams, and whatever first 11 comes out, it's massively important that someone can come off that bench and make a difference. Now, I'm hoping not tempting fate here, but when you look at the Liverpool bench, it looks a lot stronger than what the Newcastle bench is. So if Liverpool need to make changes, probably a little bit more confident that they can sort of come on and make a difference. With the Newcastle team, I know they've got a few injuries. Now it looks as though they've just managed to get a bench. Now, your fingers crossed from a Liverpool standpoint of view, that remains to be seen. But it doesn't look as though there's going to be many changes in the Newcastle game other than injuries.
Yeah. Alexander Isak is in the side. Best striker in the world right now, Jay?
As a number 9, yeah. As a number 9, I think so. I think he's got everything. He's fast. He can hold up a ball. He can run it behind. He can play off the shoulder. He can finish all different types. Robbie's probably the best one to talk about his finishing. But left foot, right foot. It crosses in the box, the header. I think he's got everything. I think there'll be a lot of people after him in the summer. I think he's an incredible player, and Liverpool are going to have to be switched on.
Newcastle are going to have to be switched on, aren't they, in the sense that they need silverware, they need Champions League football to keep him interested. But you must be a big admirer of his, Rob.
I'm a massive fan, and even before this year, I know everyone's maybe jumping on the Isak bandwagon because he's played and scored a few goals this year. But he reminds me of, and I don't know if you've ever sort of sat and noted, he reminds me of Sadio Mane. He's got like a little bit of directness about him. He's confident on the ball. He can drop either way. He drop either shoulder and go either way. And he has an end product as well. And that in itself for a number 9 is huge and massive. So, yeah, a huge fan. I hope he has a quiet game today, to be fair. And you can see why. There's going to be so many suitors interested in him because of what he does. The games he plays, the goals he scores. He's prolific. He really is. And from a Newcastle point of view, Newcastle need to play Champions League football to keep players like him there. So it's a big year for these as well.
Very intelligent as well, isn't he? And it has been billed almost as a Virgil van Dijk versus Isak thing. Do you see him pulling into areas where maybe Virgil van Dijk maybe isn't overly comfortable? Would that be his plan today rather than go up against him?
Well, that's a sensible approach from a forward. You look at the obviously Liverpool team, and Virgil van Dijk is an extraordinary player. So me as a striker, I know there's going to be times in the game where you are coming up against him, but if you use your head, you've got to maybe go 10 yards the other way and come up against the other defender. I think that's just common sense really from a striker's point of view. You don't want to go up against brick walls all the time. You want to go up against the defences that are a little bit rickety, you know what I mean?
I think the lucky thing for us though is that we have Kanate next to him.
Yeah.
You know, and they're probably both like man mountains. They are, you know what I mean. He's probably just as quick as Virgil. You know, he's probably just as quick as Strong. And now obviously they'll have a bit of an argument of who's stronger or who's quicker. But for me, I think Isaac's probably looking at them two, thinking, well, who do I pick?
Yeah.
And you know, obviously I agree with Robbie's point. Most weeks you're thinking, you know what, I'll pick one that I can go on play more on, you know, probably get the winning of. But today I'm hoping that, you know, our teams look at that and go on then, come to either one of us and we're up for the challenge.
But also from an Isak point of view, and it's not like an argument that too many people have as well. I think, you know, when you're playing with obviously that one striker, go play in the middle of them and get the defenders thinking, because more often than not you're saying, well, you don't go and stand on one defender or go and stand on the other one. Go and get in the middle of them and get the defenders thinking about where you're going to be, as opposed to you worried about where they're going to be.
Will Liverpool be worried? Will there be a specific plan for Isak, or just the way that they kind of operate as a front three almost?
I think there'll be plans for everyone. I don't just think there'll be plans for him. I think there'll be plans for the down the side with Murphy. I think obviously with Harvey Barnes playing, I think there'll be a plan for him, for the midfield three. You know, Robbie mentioned it before about the midfield is going to be a huge part of the game today. You know, Bruno Guimaraes, I think that if Newcastle want to play or they want to play their way, I think he's a huge part of that. Liverpool are obviously going to have a plan to maybe stop him playing, stop him getting control of the game. Joe Linton, you know, he's now fit. The two games that we played previously, Joe Linton wasn't involved in. Yeah. So, you know, there's going to be a new plan for him in place. But like I say, we've got players who can match just as much as, you know, they can match us. So yeah, there'll be plans in place for all different scenarios.
Best two midfields in the Premier League, isn't it? Newcastle and Liverpool's.
You've got to say yes. I mean, there's an argument for saying Arsenal. Obviously, they've sort of fell away a little bit in terms of their midfield. Yeah, but on paper, you know, two great sides. We know that, and players on top of the game can change games. We know that.
Well, atmosphere is building. Liverpool's goalkeepers are out there now getting ready for what we're hoping is not going to be a too busy afternoon. Clean sheet would be good, wouldn't it, in a cup final today? But let's get out and about again with Rob, who's been moving up Wembley way across the day, and he's caught up with a couple of former players as well. Let's find out who he's with now. Rob.
Pete, thank you very much indeed. It's a great view of Wembley Way, actually, just behind us here, with the streams of supporters still on their way into the stadium. The midfield battle promises to be key today. Jan Molby, of course, played for Liverpool. Rob Lee played for Newcastle. Rafa Benitez, former manager of both Jan, was talking about that area of the pitch in the paper today. What do you think? It feels like an area where the final might be won and lost.
Yeah, there's every chance. I fully agree with Rafa. I think it's probably more important for Newcastle than what it is for Liverpool that they get the balance right, that they get some energy and physicality into their midfield three. If they do that, I think it's going to be game on. But if they can't quite get in the game or get close enough to close down, then it might just be Liverpool's. But I think we've always got a feeling that what the Liverpool midfield boys are capable of delivering.
It's been the slightest of shifts, hasn't it, since Sandro Tonali became available again, Rob, that it just allowed a little bit more further at the pitch from Bruno Guimaraes.
Yeah, I think it's worked very, very well. I didn't see it coming really, because when Tonali first came, he was an attacking midfield player. But I think he's fitted so well into defensive midfield play. It allows Bruno to get forward, and Bruno's the one that creates the chances, because you know we've got a great centre forward in Alexander-Arnold, but we need someone to get him chances, and Bruno does that.
On the subject of needing players to get him chances, how big an absence is Anthony Gordon today?
Anthony Gordon's been, since we signed him, he's been brilliant. He's been improved every single season, every game. Disappointed to lose him to a stupid suspension. I'm sure he's regretting it now, looking at this crowd, look at this stadium. But if it's Harvey Barnes who comes in, he's a player that I rate highly anyway, so I'm sure he'll do a good job for us.
I think we totted it up earlier that 17 times you played at Wembley. Was it still as special every time you stepped out, or did it just become another game eventually?
No, because I think every game is different as it is, but also most reasons for coming were different. You know, playoff finals with Swansea, international games with Denmark, Charity Shield is now called the Community Shield, League Cups, FA Cup finals, whatever they want.
Third division playoff finals.
Third division playoff finals with Swansea. So no, Wembley is magical. Even this morning, you know, when you get up and you go, it's Wembley. And that's all you really need to say. It's Wembley, it just has that feel. Wembley is special.
Did you consciously tell yourself to just play the game the same as if it was at any other stadium? Could you do that?
No, I didn't. I used to tell myself that these are the games that you'll be remembered for. You know, and as much as we like to say every game's the same, innit? But you do understand as a player that these are the games where you can make a name for yourself. These are the games that the fans at the end of the season remember. So no, there is a different feel leading up to a Wembley Cup final. You go, this, maybe today, this is the moment.
Rob Lee, if you had £1 for every time someone had told you that you were the last Newcastle player to score at Wembley, you'd be an even wealthier man, wouldn't you? But the point is that it has been a long and very, very painful wait for all those in black and white who are making their way in at the moment.
Yeah, 25 years for a club the size of Newcastle, it's too long. It's one of those records that it's nice to have, but I really don't want it anymore. I hope Isak or Bruno or Big Joe, I hope somebody breaks it today and scores a goal, because it's been hanging over our heads for a long time now.
There was a feeling that 2 years ago against Manchester United that team didn't do themselves justice in the final. Do you think that experience, because it's a pretty similar group, will have them in a different place to go today?
Yeah, I think certainly the experience will help. Unfortunately, you know, when Newcastle come to Wembley, we usually don't play well. I take the blame for that as well, from 98 and 99.
I was going to say, not all of it.
Well, but the thing is, we've never actually scored first. And I think that's vital today. If we can get a goal early on and get the crowd behind us and actually go ahead in a final, I think that will make a huge difference to us.
How does this one play out for you, do you think?
Obviously, I think from a Liverpool point of view, it's pretty clear how you want the game to play out. Like most games have this season, Liverpool in control from the first whistle. Not always with the ball, but also sometimes without the ball. And then we have those moment players who decide the game. If Newcastle allow that, we'll win the game. As I said before, it's up to the Newcastle midfield three to make a game of it.
Gentlemen, thank you very much. Indeed, it is the second time that Liverpool and Newcastle have met in a domestic cup final. The first of those, Rob's former manager Kevin Keegan scored twice to settle an FA Cup final in the 70s in Liverpool's direction.
Great to see Jan Molby at any point on the telly. Let's hear from another now to score the winner here at Wembley. Big games call for big players to stand up and be counted. No bigger than Virgil van Dijk, who did just that when he rose to head over the winner against Chelsea last season.
There's the delivery. Van Dijk! It's absolutely amazing! Legend is written for Virgil van Dijk!
Virgil, another Liverpool final, and it's one that will hold a very special place in your heart.
Yeah, obviously last year was pretty special. Obviously the whole build-up, how the game went. So yeah, it was definitely a special one that I will never ever forget. Definitely make me very hungry to hopefully do it again against a very good Newcastle, of course.
We all knew about the amount of players that were out missing. You carry this extra responsibility as captain, but what was you feeling when you woke up in terms of what our chances were of going through and winning that trophy?
Well, feeling is always positive, always good. I think I always trust the boys to deliver. But obviously, like you said, the situation was that we had many injuries, and but you know, it's not in my nature that I would look for excuses. It's all about just dealing with the situation and be the best version you and your team can be. And I think the way we fight and the way we dig deep and the young boys that come on and made a very good impact was amazing to see. And yeah, eventually lifting the trophy with Jurgen was the icing on the cake.
You thought you'd won it on an hour?
Yeah, I did. But listen, it is what it is, and you have to keep going. Finally got a reward in it's 2 minutes before penalties.
What was the feeling like when you see the ball end up nestling in the back of the net and you're sure this time that it's going to count and it's going to be the goal that wins it?
Obviously the feeling is incredible. Also knowing obviously the penalties will come after that if you don't score. And that's obviously always a big question mark. But the way we did it now was felt even better.
So having done it as captain and having done it so many times as a player of this Liverpool team to lift trophies, with each year that grows, that insatiable desire to do it again overwhelms, I imagine, somebody like you.
Yeah, the thing is, like, these things I will never take for granted. You know, lifting trophies for Liverpool is an amazing feeling together with our fans, and I think every night that we have been experiencing these moments, you know, have been so special, and you want more of it, and you want to experience it again and again and again. And we know how difficult it is in every competition that we are competing to be able to do that. But we have an opportunity, a big final against a very good team that can make it very difficult for you, and we have to be at our best to hopefully lift that trophy. And we have to work hard for it, and it's going to be a good game, and I'm really looking forward to it.
In Premier League history, there's never a boring game between Newcastle and Liverpool. I know you'd love a clean sheet, but it's whatever it takes to get that trophy at the end.
Well, 100%. You know, you have to find a way, and that's for them exactly the same. You know, I'm really looking forward to it in so many ways. It's a final. It's a day at Wembley with our fans, family, and friends that we want to, you know, achieve the maximum. That's holding the cup and going home to Liverpool with the trophy, and that's what we're going to fight for.
He was immaculate, wasn't he, last year, as well as getting the winning goal, and really got the sense sitting down with him there that, you know, he's so keen. Obviously, once you win a trophy, you're desperate to win it again, but he very much sees this, Rob, as the first trophy under a new regime that they've got the opportunity of winning here today.
Yeah, and rightly so. I think we all know what Jürgen's achieved, we know what he's done and his teams have done over the years, but it's a new fresh start, isn't it, for all the team, for all the players, for all the coaching staff. And it's all a fresh start for all the supporters as well. So they want to come here and they want to see the team start again. You're under a new regime, a new manager. You know, a manager who's come in and been absolutely tremendous. We know that. But he's the captain, and he leads by example, because he's outstanding. But we talk about players who make the game look easy. I mean, I think at times we sort of get carried away. You know, he makes the game look easy with certain players. With Virgil, he is unbelievable, isn't he? He is like, he's a computer player. The game's effortless, isn't it?
It is a great description of him. It almost feels like he's been created on a computer. He ran out with his two arms in the air before. He looks about 7 foot tall. If he plays well, Liverpool win, Jay. Is it as simple as that?
Yeah, for me, yeah. Because if he plays well and he sets the standards, he defends well, he does his job. He sometimes doesn't even look like he breaks sweat when he's playing. He's an incredible athlete, he's an incredible person, incredible leader. He just needs, if his job's done and he steps up and shows and leads by example, the rest follow. And if he keeps that quiet, then I think Liverpool win the game.
How good is this moment, Rob, when you're on the pitch? We saw the players run out before for the warm-up. This is the moment where the game feels a little bit closer, all that nervous energy that you've been amassing over the last 24 hours.
And we can feel it as well, because when we're talking, we've got the earpieces in now, and before you could hear everything, but now you can't hear anything other than like a loud noise from the fans, and the atmosphere will always be great, certainly in the final, when it involves Liverpool. Newcastle will sort of add to that as well, but when the players run out and the roar of, you know, we're here to support you, we're here to sort of give you everything we've got, that inspires the players and that brings out everything that you need as a football player.
I've just been looking across this warm-up as well, and you can see them all megastars in their own right that form this wonderful Liverpool team now. I can remember looking out onto the pitch at this point last year, Jay, thinking most of our best players are actually stood on the sideline in tracksuits. That was the worry. They have all of the tools available to make this a really memorable day for Liverpool today.
1000%. You know, last year it was a little bit of a complete different team, different bench. You know, we were probably talking the way we talked about Newcastle's bench. Maybe, you know, what could you bring on? We were probably talking last year about Liverpool's bench with that. You know, how many young boys that we had on it. But this year, the team, the bench, the squad, just the way they've played, it's been incredible. You know, the manager's come in and got us playing a way where we can control games, we can go and press, we can slow the game down, we can pick the tempo up. He's just been able to do incredible things with this team, and I'm really looking forward to it. And everything's there for them. You know, that the pitch is immaculate, the fans are going to back them. It's now down to them to obviously do the business.
We talked about that midfield as well before, Rob. Dominic Szoboszlai's first cup final for Liverpool. He was desperately upset to miss it last year. Ryan Gravenberch only lasted 20-odd minutes of it. Yeah. You know, they're individually would be desperate to do well today, those two.
I mean, look, you've mentioned them, but I think it's every single player. I mean, we mentioned Virgil van Dijk. It's not his first cup final, but he'll be treated like a first cup final because he knows what's at stake. You've got Gravenberch, who's arguably probably the standout player in the Premier League, in the Cups, and for Liverpool this year. So he'll want to do well, won't he? I think with his performance as well, I mean, we mentioned about controlling the games. If he sort of sits a little bit more instead of running to gung-go at times, where he has that over. I mean, he has a bundle of energy, doesn't he? So somebody's got to control that, and if he controls that, I mean, he could be the world beater as well.
Yeah. Well, we're really looking forward to this one today, and as regulars at Anfield will know, it's my job to read out the Liverpool team to the Reds in the ground as well. Wembley have asked me to do that as well, which I'm dead excited about, so I'm going to hand over to Stephen Neal up on the gantry while I leg it over to the stadium, Mike. And if I don't come back, it's over to you. You can stay this.
Yeah, I've done it before, mate, don't I?
It's over to you, lads.
Brilliant, Pete. Made up for you, mate. Pete has read the Liverpool team out, of course, every home game at Anfield. He's done it at Fenway Park in Boston, and at Wembley he's had the pleasure of doing it a few times. Always does the supporters proud by doing that. Of course, we'll take a reflective look now on the two lineups for today. And as Neil Mellor said in the build-up to this game, there was one or two intriguing team selections that Arne Slot. A lot of people were saying surely Alisson will go in goal, but others were saying, well, Quiveen Kelleher is our Carabao Cup goalkeeper. He's on for a hat-trick of clean sheets at Wembley, which would be something, and I say that because it would mean we win. I know we conceded a couple of penalties, more than a couple, but we still won it, didn't we? And that's what counts in this official stat book. So all in all, two changes from midweek. Arne's kept faith with Diogo Jota. Jota said himself he's not been too happy with his form. He hasn't scored since he came off the bench at Nottingham Forest. Hopefully that changes today. So Quiveen Kelleher in goal, backline Andy Robertson, Virgil van Dijk the captain, Ibu Konate and Jarell Kwanzaa at right back, of course. What a big day for the academy graduate there. Ryan Gravenberch, Alexis McAllister, Dominic Szoboszlai in the midfield, and Luis Diaz getting the nod. He's in good form. Diogo Jota and Mohamed Salah. Bench for Liverpool, Alisson, of course, Alisson Becker, Wataru Endo, Darwin Núñez, Curtis Jones, Harvey Elliott, Federico Chiesa, Cody Gakpo, Kostas Tsimikas, James McConnell. As for Newcastle, well, Eddie Howe names an unchanged side from that win over Newcastle on Monday. So that means Nick Pope in goal, Tino Livramento, Dan Burn, Fabian Schär, Kieran Trippier the fullbacks, Sandro Tonali, Bruno Guimaraes and Joe Linton, and then Alexander Isak, Jacob Murphy and Harvey Barnes getting the nod to replace the suspended Anthony Gordon. Just as Pete Mack is about to announce the teams to the Liverpool fans in this Wembley Stadium. Mel's, your first reaction, Diogo Jota and Kelleher, two big calls there.
Yeah, no surprises. You know, obviously we knew there'd be at least one change in terms of Trent Alexander-Arnold being injured, not available for this game. No Conor Bradley, of course, to fill in for him, no Joe Gomez either. So the obvious replacement is Jarell Kwanzaa, who has played in that position a number of times already this season. So no surprises there. The goalkeeper was interesting because you think of this competition and you think of Quiveen Kelleher as being the first choice goalkeeper for this. I just wondered, and I'm sure some fans did as well, with it being the only cup final we're going to play in, now we got knocked out of the Champions League, if the manager might just decide, I'll put Alisson in. We've seen over the last couple of weeks why he's the best goalkeeper in the world. So that was a big decision to make. He's gone with Quiveen Kelleher, stuck with Jota, you know, he's due a goal, but influencing things. And obviously you've got Diaz and Salah beside him, you think there might be chances.
And by the way, an incredible video, I don't know whether you've seen it yet on LFC TV and LFC TV Go, done by the incomparable Phil Reed. And there's a Liverpool video that's been done by Phil Reed. You know it's truly magnificent. It features Phil Aspinall and the song, you know, behind the dugouts, and it's unbelievable about gathering, all about gathering cups, of course, winning the league and the cup in May. It's absolutely brilliant, and it's getting on now on the big screens here at Wembley Stadium. Absolutely brilliant. One thing I was going to ask you about, Mels, today, reflecting on the Newcastle side, Anthony Gordon we know is suspended. A big, you know, interesting subplot is down that left wing, isn't it? We know Harvey Barnes from his Leicester days is a bit of a flyer, and he's up against Jarell Kwanzaa. I mean, Jarell came on and was brilliant in the extra time against Chelsea last year. This time he's starting, and he never lets anyone down.
No, not at all. I mean, there's battles all over the pitch, but you're looking at Newcastle key players missing, and they have key players missing. Left-back Hall, he's a starter, without a doubt. So they're having to play a right-footer at left-back Livramento. Livramento's got good pace. Trippier, maybe his best days are behind him, but he's still an experienced player that will make sure he's at it for this one. But yeah, Anthony Gordon has been a consistent performer for Newcastle. He is the most creative player they have. They'll miss him, but Isak will miss him. So as much as Barnes is coming in, he got an assist, I think, in the last Premier League game, which was good for him. That's a big miss, Gordon, for them.
There he is. There's Pete.
Yeah, 1-2, 1-2.
Now the Liverpool team here today, absolutely great to see him doing out there and doing himself proud as well.
Yeah, brilliant. I think that's quite unique, isn't it, here at Wembley, that we can have something that belongs to us, our own Pete Mack. You know, we see him at Anfield announcing the team, and just a bit of normality for a fixture here for the Liverpool fans to hear him reading out the team news.
I can actually hear you now, which is good. It's noisy in here, isn't it?
What's that?
I mean, the atmosphere, we've seen it before. We've bumped into a few Newcastle fans, all good-natured, I'm pleased to say. It's always going to be that, you know, working class Liverpool and Newcastle both have a port. You know, there's pride and passion in there, isn't it?
Yeah, absolutely.
And the amount of legends who've played for both clubs.
Yeah, there's plenty of those. I think there's a different feel to this cup final. We've had Chelsea in the last few years, and the relationship isn't great between the both teams. That's a polite way of putting it. But Newcastle, a big football club, the fans have been starved of success for so many years, but they've always backed them, and they're here in big numbers, hoping this could be their day today.
So You'll Never Walk Alone is just about getting played as well. Don't worry if you can hear a few boos. It's basically because our commentary position is sort of split between the Newcastle end towards the Liverpool end. But the Liverpool fans, in the end, we were last season, of course, against Chelsea. Hopefully that is going to be a good omen as we look away to my right-hand side from the gantry. The Wembley Arch faces us. The Newcastle end is in the end to the left-hand side. But we'll go silent momentarily, and we'll let you listen to the anthem, Jerry, with the travelling cop at Anfield South.
You'll Never Walk Alone, that even seemed to impress Arne Slot there, who was stood with a big smile on his face. First time I've seen it in a Wembley Cup final. My entire body's covered in goosebumps here. It's not just because of the temperature. That was a great moment, that, wasn't it?
It's incredible, you know. Yeah, as a player, when you're warming up, to hear the crowd sing it, to see them do it now. You know, over the last season, I was in the crowd doing it myself, and then to be here, pitch side, looking at it again, it's an incredible feeling, like you say. It gives you goosebumps. It also makes you a hell of a lot nervous than I was 20 minutes ago. Because, you know, the kick-off's getting closer, but I'm really excited as well.
It's a real treat for the players, Rob, because they don't really get the chance to hear that at Anfield. You know, they're preparing to come on the pitch by then. You know, they heard the names announced. You'll Never Walk Alone. They're starting to grow a little bit in stature now, surely.
Yeah, they get the end of it at Anfield, don't they? And it goes in. But as you're walking down to Anfield, you can sort of get it, and it sort of drives on a little bit more. But it is a little bit earlier in the players, just before they come back onto the pitch, and you see the crowd, you see what it's about, you see what it means, and they're looking at that, thinking, you know what, we've got to go and supply these today what these need.
Liverpool win, we hope. that these two are back here smiling a little bit later on as well. We go down in the dressing room the next 10 minutes or so. Hopefully it's calm, it's focused. The ball's found its way over here as well. But we're praying for a win in 90 minutes. I don't think we can cope with extra time and penalties, but whatever it takes for the winner to stay on. That is just done from our build-up pitch side here. We've got to vacate our presentation position as the stadium gets set up for kick-off and all the fireworks that will come. On the other side of the break, Steve Hunter and Neil Mellor will take up the reins and guide you through what's left of the build-up, and of course come kick-off, take you through every kick of the 2025 Carabao Cup final. Post-match we'll be back. Robbie, Neil, Jay, hopefully celebrating with the reaction from the dressing room. And if that's not enough, you can watch the match in full from midnight tonight on LFC TV and LFC TV Go as well. Well, the Reds have made the journey down Anfield South. They're primed, they're ready to do their bit to help Arne Slot to his first trophy of this season, the first of hopefully more to come. Newcastle, we hope, are still frustrated at the end. Big thanks to Robbie and Jay and to Neil Mellor and Steve Hunter as well. We'll see you later. Be lucky.
But it's the Football League Cup for the first time. Again, Wheeler's scored it! Brilliant goal! In for Souness, and a goal! A super second goal! It's Liverpool again.
Save! Liverpool are prize winners again. Still Owen, can he win the cup? Yes, he can! It's a magnificent 7 League Cup triumph for Liverpool Football Club. Hello, old friend. It's good to see you again. Up steps Kepa, right footed. Oh! Joy for Liverpool! We win at Wembley! Tsimikas delivers. And yes! It's Virgil van Dijk! 10 times winners of the League Cup! It's another cup